Welcome to my channel, Fast Fate Stories, where fate doesn't waste time. Settle in, subscribe, and let's dive in. The words blinked on Mara's phone like a living thing, pulsing with intent. Her breath caught. The coffee mug slipped from her fingers and shattered across the kitchen floor, but she barely noticed. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. She stared at the screen again, waiting for recognition to surface. Some image, some name, some shadow of memory. Nothing. Only a cold, creeping certainty. This message knew her. She sank into a chair, fingers trembling. She had rebuilt her life piece by fragile piece over the last 2 years. New apartment, new job at the library, her name etched neatly on a mailbox that felt wrong. And Lucas Weston, firefighter, hero in the very real sense of the word. He had pulled her from a burning home when her past had been literally burned clean from her life. She vaguely remembered when he had carried her through flames and falling beams, smoke in his clothes, but courage stitched into his bones. His arms iron strong, his voice steady in her ear as the world collapsed around them. The fire had taken her home, her photographs, her journals, her life before, but it had taken something else, too. Her memory. Doctors called it dissociative amnesia, trauma-induced, selective but deep. She remembered facts, how to read, how to tie her shoes, but not herself. Nothing. No face that felt familiar when she looked in the mirror, except Lucas's. He had visited her every day in the hospital. He brought laughter, coffee, and calm when nightmares ripped through her sleep. He never pushed, never demanded gratitude or affection. He just stayed. Somewhere between relearning who she was and choosing who she wanted to be, she fell in love with him, and he with her. A knock sounded on the door. Mara. Lucas's voice warm, grounding. "You okay? I called your name a few times and you didn't answer." "Just clumsy," she managed to say. He entered anyway, eyes instantly scanning the room, trained for danger. His brow furrowed when he saw her pale face. "Hey," he said softly, stepping closer. "What's wrong?" She wanted to tell him, but decided not to. She appreciated having a man so attentive. As the day carried on, the message echoed through her mind. "He loves you now, but I loved you first." The second message came the next day. "Fire was chosen because you liked watching things burn." She stared at her reflection in the darkened computer screen at work. She didn't recognize the woman, looking back, haunted, afraid of shadows she couldn't see. She went home early, unable to stop her feelings of confusion. That night, memories came in violent flashes. A man's hand gripping her wrist too tightly. A laugh, low, mocking. The smell of smoke. A voice in her ear. "You don't belong to him. You never did." She woke screaming. Lucas couldn't sleep and was reading a book nearby when he heard the screams. He was there within mere seconds, concerned but steady. "It's okay," he repeated. "I've got you." "I don't know who I was." She sobbed into his chest. "What if I was terrible?" He gently tilted her chin upward, forcing her to meet his eyes. "Listen to me. Who you were doesn't outweigh who you choose to be. And who you are, right now, is brave, kind, strong." Her voice shook. "But what if I don't like who I was? Then we face it. Together." She clung to him, but the unease didn't fade. A week later, familiarity finally arrived at a firehouse charity event. Music played, laughter echoed, and Mara was starting to feel normal again, until she saw him, tall, handsome, composed, locking eyes with her from across the room. He smiled, making his way to the couple. "Mara," he said gently. The world tilted. Lucas stiffened beside her. "Do you know her?" The man extended a hand calmly. "Julian Hawthorne. Mara and I, we were close once." Mara's heart raced. "I don't remember." Julian's eyes softened, but satisfaction flickered underneath. "I know." He watched her and Lucas for the rest of the night. A quiet, dangerous look lingered on his face. He didn't approach them again that day. She now knew it was Julian sending her the messages and hoped he would stop. But the messages didn't stop. They came at odd hours, each one sharpening the ache behind her eyes. "You used to love red roses. You promised me forever. You don't remember the fire, do you?" Her nightmares returned. Fragmented flashes, a man's laugh, a woman's laugh, marble floors, a hand gripping her wrist too tightly while smiling for an audience, a voice whispering, "You need me." Then, one afternoon, a letter arrived. No return address. Inside was a single photograph. Mara in a white dress at a charity gala, her arm linked with Julian in a tailored suit. His name struck like lightning. That night, her head throbbed, pressure building behind her eyes until the present thinned and something else pushed through. She was standing in a glass-walled penthouse. Julian was there, beautiful, controlled, furious beneath his charm. "You don't understand," he was saying. "If we don't marry by the end of the year, the trust dissolves. Billions, Mara. My family's entire legacy. I won't be forced," she heard herself say, "not like this." He smiled then, cold and certain. "You'll come round." Mara jolted awake, gasping. The memories surged after that, relentless, unforgiving. Julian had been her boyfriend. He was wealthy, connected, obsessed with image and control. She remembered trying to leave him, quietly at first, then with resolve. She remembered packing a bag, buying a small house under her own name, planning a clean break, and then fire the smell of gasoline, a shadow outside her window, a door locked from the outside. The full truth slammed into her with brutal clarity. Julian had started the fire. She realized now that he had planned to destroy her home so she'd have nowhere to go, planned to swoop in as savior, forcing proximity, forcing dependence, forcing marriage. She cried as memory finished its cruel work. Lucas found her. She told him everything. Rage crossed his face. "He tried to kill you, and you saved me," she whispered. "From him. From everything. From myself." The next day, Julian requested a meeting for closure. Against Lucas's objections, and with the police quietly looped in, Mara agreed. They met in a grand hotel lobby, one that he used to take her to often. Julian rose when he saw her walking towards him, his smile practiced and perfect. "You remember?" he said, pleased. "Yes," she replied. "I remember who you are. You were meant to be my wife," he said softly. "You already have a wife," she said. "It's true. I'm married after this happened to you so I could keep my inheritance, but I do not love her. I love you. Everything I did was for us." "You didn't have to marry my best friend," Mara said. She remembered the night of the fire, glancing out the window and seeing her best friend Laura flee to the car to join Julian just before she fell and hit her head, minutes before Lucas showed up and saved her. "Laura and I have been together since before we even met. She introduced us. Remember? She's fun to have around, and she's pregnant, but I don't love them." He stepped closer. "I love you. I still want you, my love." She slapped him hard this time. He wasn't expecting it. "You set my house on fire," she shouted. "Yes, it's true. I set your house on fire, and I'd do it again," he shouted with rage. "I gave you a future," he snapped. "What I did was for our future. Without me, you're nothing. Laura didn't even have the courage to show up today to face you." That was when Lucas stepped forward, his presence a wall. "Mara is everything," he said. He was so proud of her, and she chose herself. Julian's composure cracked. The police moved in. Handcuffs gleamed. As Julian was led away, he twisted back toward her, venomous. "He loves you now," he hissed. "But I loved you first." Mara met his eyes, unafraid. "Controlling me was never the same as loving me." Weeks later, justice didn't just come for Julian, but also found Laura, who had to beg for a deal so she didn't have a baby in prison. Months later, Mara stood at a window to their home and glanced out at Lucas, who was outside chopping wood for their fireplace. Watching him closely, she smiled softly. He had proposed to her weeks ago. Their wedding was in a month. She felt whole. She faced betrayal and survived. Lucas had built them a beautiful fire and they settled on the couch. "I loved him once," she whispered, ashamed. "Both of them. Then they broke that love. That's not on you. I fell in love with the woman who survived. I remember enough now," she said. "Enough to know I don't want my old life back." He studied her, and the new one. She peered into his eyes, steady and sure. "I choose this. You and me. I love you, Mara." Lucas welcomed her warmth and touch, firelight flickering behind them, both losing themselves in a deep, passionate kiss. Some fires are meant to consume. Others exist to reveal what survives after the flames. Love was a choice. And this time, she chose him, them, with all the love and promise for the future. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the next tale. Your support means everything and helps bring more stories to life. Until next time.